Yeah, they were orders. I think it needs to be identified.
Yeah, you know, we got land back there.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I don't know if anyone's not coming, but.
I talked to Dave, he said so. I'll see you tomorrow. I said, oh, you going first?
Okay, let's go ahead and get started. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We have a quorum. Yes. Didn't have to take off a shoe to keep going. So, Madam Clerk, when you're ready, a roll call, please.
Bell, Curran, Freeling,
Here.
present, Harrison,
Here.
Hinkleman, Ott, Pittsford, Tyler, Borath, Werfel, Yarborough, Elliott,
Here.
you have 9.
Thank you. Minutes from last week. Anyone want to move by Werfel?
I'll support.
Supported by Tyler. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed, same sign. Minutes are approved. Requisition review.
Morning. Does anybody have any questions about the requisitions, change orders? Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, well, it's a perfect segue to a public hearing concerning homeowner repair assistance for emergencies. And that, I'm guessing, is both the nature of the damage and the finances needed to make it happen. We have Katie Montoya here, but to do this, we'll need to have a motion to adjourn our regular meeting and convene the public hearing for that purpose. Moved by Harrison, supported by Volrath. Any conversation about this? We will need a roll call.
Freeling,
Yes.
Harrison,
Yes.
Hinkleman,
Yes.
Ott,
Yes.
Tyler,
Yes.
Borath,
Yes.
Werfel,
Yes.
Elliott,
Yes.
Curran.
Yes.
Okay, we have convened the public hearing. Katie, what have you to say?
Morning. On the community development block grant, which is the program income. This is a unique pot of funding. Okay. You put me in front of a microphone, you never know what's gonna come out. Check 1, 2. No. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to talk about the Community Development Block Grant Program Income Program. So this program was, let me see. Oh. How do I just go to the next slide? Hit enter.
Here. No, this one. Why is it not working?
Let me just go. Wait. Here, let me just close that.
Got it?
Oh, I just.
There it goes. So
Okay, thank you.
it's that one, this one, right there.
Okay. So I'll just talk about what the program income is. This is generally, in many years ago, the county received community development block grant, just a general allocation sent to all the counties that wanted to participate in the CDBG program. And at that time, we had created a resource for home repairs. It's for low to moderate income households throughout the county that are non-CDBG entitlement communities. So we serve all of the county with exception to the city of Benton Harbor and the city of Niles. They receive CDBG funds directly from HUD. And so we received our funding from the state, Michigan State Housing Development Authority. And we invested repairs to homes through a 0% interest deferred loan. And it was for that full project cost. And over the years, the requirement with that program was whenever a property was sold or transferred, the repayment of that investment comes back to the county, where we can then recycle and reinvest those dollars. Over the many years, the CDBG county allocation program has no longer existed. There is still community development block grant funding, but it is under a different program guidelines. So when projects or when properties are sold and the money comes back to us, we have to collect those funds within a period of from July 1st through June 30th. And if the funds exceed 35,000, those dollars then become federal again. If it's under that $35,000, it is just funding that we can use, but we have more discretion as to how we can assist with repairs. We've always set aside these dollars for emergency funding because emergencies are just what they are. They're emergencies. We don't have always a plan for them, and the needs are very great in our community. This year, the eligible, just quickly to refresh what program income eligible repairs are. They are immediate danger to the health and safety of the home. So immediate threat to health and safety. They generally consist of roof repairs and replacement where there is no water, where the well's gone dry, or they have plumbing repairs from a water supply. If in fact their sewage, their septic system has failed, that also is a health risk. And then replacing heating systems. So if the air, their HVAC has gone out, the furnace has gone out in the middle of winter, right? That's a problem in Michigan. We've also included accessibility improvements such as ramps. We do try to connect with other resources and agencies that do provide or support services to those repairs, but generally these are the repairs that we mostly cover. The eligibility requirements under our program guidelines are that the applicant must be 80% of the area median income, and that's based off of the number of people in their household. We utilize what's called the HUD's Part 5 annual gross income to define, to determine their eligibility. Right now for a single person, if they make less than, I think, 48,000, they qualify for assistance, and that's gross income. Applicants must own the home as their primary place of residence at least 6 months with a warrant through a warranty deed. We do require that their property taxes are paid in current, as well as a mortgage if that is on. Applicants must have also homeowners insurance. In the instance where the insurance has dropped them because of this repair, it's generally not triggered to an emergency type thing, where if there was an emergency, like a tree fell on the roof, that would be something that the insurance company could assist with. So we do want to make sure and require that they have that homeowner's insurance. The applicant actually gets the estimates for the emergency repair from licensed and insured contractors. And then the way we have the program currently set up is if the project cost for the repair is under $2,500, it is a grant. Any amount over that, it is a mortgage or a lien that's placed on the property, and after 5 years, 50% of that investment is forgiven. So then when they sell the house or no longer live there, that other 50% comes back to us, and we can then recycle those dollars and put it back into the emergency repair program. It's not, there is no scheduled amount of when we receive the funds. It's as properties sell and repayments come back to us. So some years we may have no funding, like last year, there was no funding that was received. For this coming year, we have $42,835. Since 2003, or I'm sorry, 2023, that was the first year we ever had more than 35,000 received in funding. So where it triggered this HUD, it became federal dollars again. So since then, we've reinvested $80,636, assisting 10 households throughout the county. And this year, we do anticipate assisting between probably 4 and 5 homes under the Emergency Assistance Program. I don't know if there's other questions or concerns. I do know that this small money isn't much when the needs are so great, but every little thing we can do certainly does help and impacts households.
Questions for Katie? Katie, you did such a thorough job. No one has any questions.
Okay, yeah, this is the program income
Well,
program.
we do have one. Yes, ma'am.
I'm on the committee. You know, we have a lot of money. Could you ever use it for some of those funds to help or to target an area the way you do target it when you have the money? Could you use any part of that?
So under our program guidelines and the policy, under the program guidelines, we've always set aside the program income as emergency only. And that's also a guideline or guidance from the state of Michigan, where if we don't use it as program income emergency funding, we then have to return it back to the state. And so we feel that it's best if we could reinvest those dollars back into our homes and our housing stock. So from a targeted standpoint with the emergency dollars, if we get less than, I mean, we can certainly target it, but it's such a small amount that we receive. And with the other CDBG funds that the county or the land bank has, we cannot do emergency repair activities. That isn't allowed under the MSHDA's requirements for application. So.
And that's what I was asking. The reason is because of modern plastic, you know, and pay the taxes. Does land bank get some of that tax money?
Oh, yeah, so this is, in some cases, if the land bank used some of its revenue that is generated from property taxes where we've sold, we could possibly use some of those dollars, but that's a land bank decision. This funding is under the counties. So 2 different entities, all doing good things, but 2 different entities with different programmatic structures.
Thank you.
Yes.
Could you also then just cover quickly, in the last 2 years, we've had a significant number of dollars that we've also received in grants to help do repairs, not emergency repairs necessarily,
Yeah.
but repairs in the community. Can you give us the total dollars on that?
So yes, for the CDBG funding, we have $472,000 that has been received. There is a public hearing this afternoon with regards to applying for more funding and some of the accomplishments with that. We also had the land bank received some My Hope dollars, which is not CDBG specific, but it does impact and assist homeowners with repairs. And we received $300,000 of that dollar. So there are resources. It's not enough with the needs, but it's certainly trying to provide opportunities to address home repairs.
Yes, and my point being is that there is more than $43,000.
Yeah.
Right, yeah, the 43 is just earmarked for emergencies, yeah, and this pot of funding.
Anyone else? All right, thanks again, Katie.
Yeah, thank you.
Is there a motion to conclude this public hearing and go back into our open session? Moved by Harrison, supported by Ott. I believe another roll call is needed to bring us back into our regular session.
Harrison,
Yes.
Hinkleman,
Yes.
Ott, Pittsford, Tyler,
Yes.
Borat,
Yes.
Werfel, sorry,
Yes.
Yarrow,
Yes.
Elliott,
Yes,
Curran, Freely.
great, thank you. And I would note we have 11 members with us now. Now that we're back in our regular session, I've been circulating some copies of documents. We've got a few minutes left before the committees start their schedule. And this is about communication from the state, which is rather directly encouraging the creation of a body that deals with regional transportation. Regional could and would likely be county-wide. We did a resolution in 2016, which is part of the three documents, or one of the three documents being circulated. At that time, 7 people signed it who aren't here, who aren't board members anymore. See how good my memory is. Bill Smith, Marletta Seats, Bill Chickering, Deb Panazzo, pardon? Jeanette Leahy and John Clement, I think, were the 7. So a majority of the board did this 9 years ago. We certainly can review that resolution and decide if it's something we want to affirm, update, in some way revise and circulate. But the other things, there's an article from the Palladium and then a letter from the state. If everybody can, hold on. It's low on my microphone apparently. If everybody can take a look at this, would want, in fact, it would discourage that. But you might want to do a review and look it over and decide if we want to refer it to our members who are involved in transportation planning. I think that's Jim, Bob, and Terry who are on that committee. I'm mindful that there is an upcoming Southwestern Michigan planning meeting. And I've heard that that group may be interested in doing another study. I'm loath to do that. I think we've studied it and restudied it. And I think another study would not be the best use of public resources or time. Those of you who can make the meeting, I would encourage you to make that known if that is a position you're comfortable with before it gets legs. But as far as what we've received by mail and what's in the newspaper, I'm just wanting to get it out there for people to think about, and then we can decide if we want to ask Bob, and Terry, and Jim to consider this and put together some kind of a response that would be appropriate under the circumstances. Dan Fetty has just come in. He's been involved in this going back to 2016 and beyond, and probably drafted the resolution back then. Either Dan or I think Donna Howard was our lawyer then. She might have done it, but Judge Howard now. Any thoughts anyone has just coming out of the gate? Ma'am.
Have you already been meeting with Barron County Transportation?
Commissioner, for the last 2 months, staff of Berrien County, Berrien Bus, the staff at MDOT and FTA, and the staff at the city and Takata have been having meetings every other Tuesday to discuss both the contents of this letter, which we knew were coming, and what the appropriate response would be.
How have those meetings gone?
Well, the nature of the discussion has been, I think a recognition amongst everyone that the system that is existing right now is not working. That there is financial difficulties that are becoming more and more acute. Some solution to this needs to be found, and I think the general consensus in those meetings was that the creation of a regionalized authority that incorporated all the communities and unified the funding sources and created for a more seamless service plan, which was created essentially on paper 8 years ago, is probably the preferred way to go. I think the staff was in agreement that this would be the recommendation that we would be making to our respective bodies. Now, media reports would indicate that that's not necessarily the direction that Benton Harbor is discussing right now. But I can tell you that at the staff level, that's been our position, that is that what was done in 2016, 2017, 2018 is probably time to consider advancing that process.
Would the commissioner who represents the city of Benton Harbor, Amy, would you be interested, Amy, in being added to the transportation body with Terry, Bob, and Jim?
I would,
Okay,
I would do it.
all right. Well, is that my call or is that a board call?
I think that's an ad hoc, so.
Okay. You are hereby appointed. Now, beyond that,
I know history.
before the meeting, there was a comment about being careful to not get out a bridge too far in situations like this. And it would be pointless to even commence this undertaking if it's not going to be well received by the Benton Harbor City Commission. It's not only likely to fail, it wouldn't even get started if there's not a willingness to work cooperatively and try to advance this, because corporate council is the county, the only governmental body that could create a county-wide authority.
As far as I'm aware, yes.
Okay, all right. So it's something to give due consideration, but I don't want to just say, okay, let's do it. I think we have to be deliberate about this and thoughtful and ensure that if we weigh in, we will be welcomed, not rejected. So, is that enough in the way of caveats? Anyone have any thoughts? Any of the members, sir?
Just a high level thought, the thing that I'm the most concerned about is I've been hearing about this for quite some time. The citizens and the residents who use Dial-A-Ride and who aren't a part of this process and don't have any say on whether or not the state or the federal government removes funding, they're going to need some type of transportation service. And it is a lifeline for a lot of people, whether it's getting to their grocery store, their doctor's appointments, or getting out to LMC for school. There's a lot of people that rely on this service. So as much as we can do to be helpful in this process, and as much as Benton Harbor is willing to work with us, is going to be extremely important, because there's a lot of people. I was one of those people. That's how I got back and forth to LMC when I was there. It is a lifeline for a lot of people.
Yeah, and you, Dan?
If I could maybe add something to that, the challenge, even in a perfect world, is that somehow we have to keep these systems operating while this plays out. So part of the discussion amongst the staff level and with the FTA and MDOT has been, how do we kind of bridge these systems for the next 12 months to make sure that we don't lose service in the process. So, I mean, that's a critical component to success, is that we can't have transit go away while a long-term effort is underway.
And just as a follow-up to that statement, please, to the board, it is a one-page letter from the state of Michigan from MDOT. It's in front of each of you. Read that letter, understand that letter. That letter is very clear notice that the clock is ticking, that the funding will stop, and that if we don't spend the coming months working in collaboration, exactly what you just said, it becomes the reality, which is a halt of service without a contingency plan.
Ma'am,
Benton Harbor is not putting money in. It's all the other communities. I know when Dial-A-Ride was created. And so I've ridden just the route to see what it does, where it goes. And it goes through many communities, picks up many other people. And so those communities have got to come and put money into this overall committee, overall district, whatever we create. It has to be dollars from St. Joe Township, Lincoln Township. And most of those supervisors are still there. They know the history. So I look forward to us working together, all the communities. If not, then it'll be gone. There is a millage that's paid from taxes in the city of Benton Harbor. And I've seen before where you all say it's not much, but it is what it is. They're in it.
In my prior life, I did economic development. This issue has been going on back to 1981. And we've had many grants with studies. I'm opposed to doing another study. I understand that need, but like in South County, and especially Niles City, we have passed numerous transportation millages for this. I don't want to see another planning grant. I don't want to waste the taxpayers' money on that issue. I do understand we've lost a lot of manufacturing jobs. We are now creating different types of job sets, and hopefully this will change in the future because we're very diversified. And we have a lot of industrial parks here. But I know people can't afford car insurance still after the legislators have made changes. It's still as high as ever. I know there is a need, but I'm quite proud of the city of Niles and how they have proceeded, because I don't see them at the table in any of these projects or grants in the past.
thank you. City of Niles. Bob,
So I see you reviewing the letter from the state. It makes me pause for a minute. As I remember, we went down, there was an initiative from Lansing regarding the Benton Harbor High School that ended up stopping and going under study. And so I guess my question would be, what's the governor's attitude towards this action by MDOT and the federal government? And then the second is, I would agree with Commissioner Tyler that, the last thing we need is another study. I participated in a regular series of meetings under the Strategic Leadership Council, and I don't know that there's any more data that needs to be gathered, alternatives to be considered. The question is moving forward, and I would confirm what our administrator has said. The issue, while there's a deadline in October of next year, the law of economics might prevail earlier than that, where there's a lack of service, being able to be provided just because of vehicles or staff. And so that's time is, I think you always are fond of saying, hurry, don't rush, or rush, don't hurry, or
be quick, but don't hurry.
Okay, very good. So,
Yes, quoting John Wooden when he was at UCLA. Yeah, and I mean, I think the deductible on their comprehensive liability insurance is something like 300,000 for a single claim. That would, I'm guessing, take care of a fund balance or close to it in no time. And if vehicles aren't being maintained, if vehicles aren't staffed because there aren't enough people on the payroll to run them, those are all compelling, but in 1985, we created the 911 emergency telephone system and staffed it. We had multiple PSAPs back then. We've fortunately since then taken, I think, 6 down to 2. But it took significant community buy-in before we voted to create the 911 system. There was an enabling statute that had to be utilized. We had to figure out funding, millage, surcharge on telephone lines. All that stuff had to be sorted out. This is something that would take considerable discussion, study, but there are threshold questions. Before we undertake this, are we going to have community buy-in? And we need to figure that out sooner rather than later, because I can't imagine the voters approving a countywide transportation millage. People are making it clear they'll support public safety and they'll support the senior centers. And beyond that, I think it's a hard sell because they're still dealing with the effects of inflation and so forth. But we need to start somewhere, and I guess for the time being, is there any inclination to refer this to Mamie, Terry, Bob, and Jim in their capacity on the ad hoc committee to give this some study and tell us what they think we ought to do going forward? Or do you want to just sit on it for right now? Sir?
We've studied this a lot, and I agree with the comments. We don't need to study this again.
Okay.
We have a lot of good information that we have assembled in the past that Dan has. My main question is, why is the state asking us to do this? Why aren't they doing it? Because like you just said, we tried to do this voluntarily before and we got pushback. There were communities that did not want to do it. And so obviously it was voluntary, and so we kind of disassembled what we had tried. This letter is not voluntary.
No.
This letter is, you will do it, or they will do it, and they want us to facilitate it. Again, I go back to why us, because now we're going to expend time and resources to make this happen, because this says it's going to happen one way or the other.
Yeah.
Why us?
My hunch is, it's just a hunch, that they're hoping we will take on the financial responsibility. And I hope we can, early on in this process, disabuse them of the notion that the county is going to financially underwrite this transportation project. The state is uniquely situated to pay for this. Facilitating something on the county level is one thing. We're still incurring opportunity costs when we do that, because it's our staff, it's our county tax dollars, but we can certainly help get people together to discuss it. But again, there has to be a buy-in, literally and figuratively, at the outset. And if there isn't, it's not going to work if it's some sort of patchwork quilt arrangement in terms of funding. And how we find that out, I would think you all, working with Dan and Brian, could quickly check the pulse of the local communities who would be funding sources for this. Yes, sir.
I would be in favor of BCAT reassembling along with partners or stakeholders from Takata, and at least discuss it. And let's test the water. Let's see how warm or hot or cold that water is. But it should be more than just us sitting at the
Yeah.
table, having this discussion. But I would be okay with BCAT sitting down with Dan and representatives from Takata and having that discussion. Let's see where we're at.
Well,
Mac, has there been a discussion about this meeting that's coming up next Thursday?
the planning commission?
Well, it's not the planning commission, it's a consortium of educational, healthcare and service agencies that's meeting on Thursday to discuss this.
We're talking about it now.
Yeah, so the individuals and the organizations that are gonna be represented in that meeting are the principal service recipients of transportation in Berrien County, and I think that is a forum to gauge community support for what's happening.
Who in this room is planning to be there?
So to the board, you don't have a meeting next week. In setting your meeting schedule for the year, next week due to Labor Day, it was viewed as a short week. And the board opted to take next week off. That will clear up some time for the BCAT members. What time is your meeting?
I think it's being hosted at 2:30 out at the conference room at the health department
That sounds right.
next Thursday.
Next Thursday at 2:30 at the Health Department Conference Center. Anyone who attends that would be considered a per diem eligible meeting. And I would hope we could get a good crew there. I would ask that if there's consensus, that word be given to John Eaglehoff, that it's not going to happen if he's pushing to do another study, even if there's a grant. You don't have to accept the grant if the grant isn't purposeful. It's not going to accomplish anything good, then don't do it. And if the group is on board with that, I can direct Brian to contact Mr. Eaglehoff and tell him it won't be well received. What's the view around here? Yes, ma'am.
Point of clarity, is the meeting happening on Thursday on the 4th, something that's been spearheaded by the planning commission?
No, that's a very good point. It's the Berrien, what is it, the Healthy Berrien Consortium. Yeah. Now, the planning commission has provided some administrative support to this. But I want to be clear that what we're hearing is a two-prong effort. One is a potential additional study for implementation of transit changes. The other is a larger discussion about, is this something the community wants to even pursue, which is regional transportation services. So I do think there's an opportunity at this forum to discuss or to gauge the support that's coming from the service recipients and the local municipalities.
What's the consensus of the group on sending a message that we do not want another study? Anybody want another study? I mean, if you do, that's fine. But
We got a couple we can let you look at.
yeah. I'd say read 2 or 3 that are already in the files before you answer. Yeah. Okay, then we'll pass the word that Berrien would not support this, doing another study, a 4th or 5th study. Ma'am.
Does the state of Michigan have counties that are county transportation taking care of all of their county? Is there an example of that happening and working?
I think there is up north especially.
What, a countywide system?
Yeah, is there a Michigan State countywide transportation thing that's successful?
In fact, with the exception of Berrien County and to a lesser degree, Washtenaw, almost all transit systems in Michigan are countywide systems.
They are.
They are.
Kalamazoo and Kent now?
Well, remember Kalamazoo and Portage merged.
Oh, that's right.
Dowagiac and Cass merged. There's been an effort from the state to move into these communities and basically encourage the consolidation of fragmented local systems into
Okay.
regional systems.
But
And
that's
I-
not a countywide millage to fund it.
Well, some of them are, some of them aren't. Some of it is
Okay.
like a buy-in from local communities, some is millage. I mean, it just all depends.
'Cause I'd heard the ones up north were doing countywide millages because they're sparsely populated and they have a lot of people spread
Well,
around, you know, like.
I mean, we could get
Costa.
into, we could get into the details of it, but
Yeah.
the vast majority of the systems are funded on a countywide millage basis, but it's not the only model that exists
Okay.
out there. Okay.
All right, well, that would be a tough
That's what I
sell,
wondered.
I think, but we'll find out. Anyone have anything else?
Are we trying to meet on the fourth, go to the planning?
I-
commission the same?
Well, it's the service.
We'll send the email out.
Yeah,
Right.
and anybody who can make it, I would say do it.
Can we give
Pardon?
just to make sure they don't make a quorum?
Okay, as long as it's not more than 6 commissioners there.
So if they want to just.
Yeah. So the 4 BCAT people, certainly, and if 1 or 2 more want to go, but let's not have 7 board members there. All right, so Brian will pass the word that we don't want yet another study. And then we'll refer this to BCAT for further discussion and consideration. Is that good?
Yeah. And
All right.
if the cities don't come and say they'll work to do it.
Any public comments before we break? Melissa?
Hi, I'm Melissa Clapper, St. Joe Charter Township. Obviously, I don't have much of a life because I was around when we did this last study and we did all the committee meetings for transportation. And I think I might have to disagree with you a little bit, Mac, on the fact that I think that maybe a countywide transportation system presented well might get a little more traction this time. There are people like me, live by myself, just had a knee done, had to depend on everybody else to get around because I couldn't drive. I think there are younger people, to Chokwe's point, that just don't want to deal with cars. The price of a car is outrageous, insurance. And I think that people need more than just, I mean, they have to have a way to do it. And I think if we present it, that it's a countywide that impacts all of us, that it might get a little bit. And if you happen to need a public person on one of these committees, I'm more than happy to apply. I mean, I think that it's just, I think it might go, yes, nobody wants to pay extra, but if it means I don't have to have a car. I know one of the things that happened the last time, I remember a younger person talking that didn't want a car, they loved a bike. They could get to work, they couldn't get home from work with public transportation or vice versa. So I think there's a lot of things, I agree, we don't need another study. I saw Dan's stuff, I mean, there was just, plenty of things that are around. But anyway, glad that it's back out there. I think that it's important to talk about again, and maybe just come at it in a different way. So, thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Yes, sir.
Chuck Hike, Sheriff, New Buffalo Township. Just want to take a minute. I know you're going to committees, but yesterday was a pretty important day at the sheriff's office. I want to kind of brag about some of the men and women. Yesterday, we had 3 people graduate from the DOC Academy. That's a state required academy that has to be done. Christopher Wolf, Elizabeth Root, and Alyssa and Tisdale. Christopher was awarded the Professional Excellence Award, and Alyssa was the class speaker voted on by her peers. So very proud of that. At the Police Academy last night, I was honored to be the guest speaker. I just want to say to the leadership at Lake Michigan College, thank you. I don't see Brian as one of the trustees. I was going to point him out as a trustee on that board. But especially Brad Byerly, who is the director of the Police Academy, does a great job in offering that here locally at the college. There were many, they were all Berrien or Cass County recipients, so it is a great thing for our community. But in that, we had Sam Douglas, Satiri Margaritas, and Blaine Sutherland. Blaine Sutherland won the Fitness and Wellness Award, and Sam Douglas won the Academic Achievement Award, the Subject Control Award, the Leadership Award, and the M. Coles Outstanding Performance Award. I thought it was Academy Awards ceremony as many times. I've been to many police academies where I've never seen 4 out of, I think there's only like 8 or 9 awards. The sheriff's office took 5 of them. So very proud of that and proud of the work they do. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, if there's nothing else, we'll break for committees and come back at 10:30.